Welcome tonight. It's so awesome to see your guys' faces. I haven't seen some of you in a really long time. So welcome. We're so happy to have you here. Thank you for coming and supporting Jeremy tonight. I'm going to go ahead and introduce tonight's speaker. Jeremy Stoker was born and raised in the Seattle area as the youngest of 5 and a son to Grant and Carolyn Stoker. He lived his childhood in the Pacific Northwest, and when he had the opportunity to leave for college, he fled to beautiful sunny Prescott, Arizona, where he knew he would see blue skies more often than not. He attended the prestigious Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, where he received a bachelor's degree in aeronautical science, graduating magna cum laude. During that phase, he also served in the Argentina Mendoza mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. As flying has always been his passion, he's worked as a professional pilot for several companies over the course of his career, including American Eagle Airlines, FlexJet, Jet Select, and is currently with American Airlines flying to MD8, but not for long. Jeremy has traveled to over 20 countries and all but 2 of the 50 United States, but he calls Allen, Texas home. He's been married for 18 years next week and is the father of 3 beautiful children. He enjoys hiking, spending time on the lake, and practicing Krav Maga. He has recently published articles integrating the concepts of flight with personal development. Please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker and my husband, Jeremy Stoker.
Last fall, it all came together for me. We've been looking for a house for 4 years, and finally we found the perfect house for us. It was a classic Texas house. It's 4-bedroom, office, 4-bath, half-acre, wooded in the back, a little creek going back there. There's a trampoline, a little play set, zip line, big yard for the dog. Perfect house for a family. Got the perfect job, my dream job. I'm flying airplanes. I'm making more money I've ever made in my life. Got a new truck. We went and bought a boat. We got to the lake. We come back from some vacations. Got a beautiful wife. 3 beautiful kids. I'm like, I did it. I did it. Like, I'm the provider. I'm the husband. I'm the father that I've always wanted to be. I finally did it. And I felt really, really good for about 6 weeks. And then I started to get a real empty feeling inside, kind of a sinking, now what? Is my life just little tweaks from here on out? Am I going to get excited because we got a new refrigerator? Ooh, new refrigerator. We're going to paint the girls' room. Ooh, that's going to be exciting. Oh, we found a carpet that matches the paint. Oh, my day's complete now. No, that's not going to do anything for me. I was worried that my life was just going to be little tweaks from here on. That sinking feeling, I didn't like that at all. But I had had it before, years and years ago, and I recognized it. And this time I knew what to do when I had that feeling, and I didn't hesitate. Thank you so much for being here. It's amazing that you're all here. I can send out a single text to you guys, and here you are. That means so much to me. Each one of you is a friend. Each one of you I've known for years. Some of you I'm just getting to know, and I'm so appreciative that you guys are here to help me with this project that I'm working on. I've been taking an online course on public speaking. Me and Adrian recently signed up for Toastmasters. Adrian mentioned I've been writing some articles, and a lot of you guys have read those articles. Some of you guys have shared those articles with your friends. Trying a lot of new things right now, and I'm so glad I have you guys to share those things with, and you guys to support me through those new experiences I'm trying right now. I was worried that because I was having that sinking feeling that I needed to grow, but I didn't want to grow through God's way of growing. You know, when you feel like I want to grow, but God's gonna make me grow. I was a little worried about that. Today we're going to talk about 3 things. First, we're going to learn the parent of all other virtues. Second, to To develop spiritually, you need to develop yourself personally. And when you develop yourself personally, you must do so with the higher purpose of developing spiritually. And third, we have so much more control over our lives than we ever imagined. So first, years and years ago, I had that very same empty, sinking feeling in my heart. It had been about 6 weeks after my mother's death. My mother had had a 5-year battle with pancreatic cancer, and it was a painful battle. My mother's passing was not a sweet, peaceful passing in her sleep. It was an agonizing death. And to see her hurt so much, it hurt me. My mother, to this day, is still the most perfect person I've ever met in my life. No one ever said a bad thing about my mom. And in the 26 years that I had with my mom, I never heard her speak a bad word about anybody. She's the most Christ-like person I've ever known. And the fact that she suffered so much and that she hurt made me hurt. And I was bitter. I was bitter. I had graduated from a prestigious university 18 months prior to this point. Prestigious is another word for expensive. I had student loan debt up to here. And I wasn't working in my field. There was no pilot jobs. Me and Adrian just recently purchased a home at this point. Our home was less than my student loan debt. And Adrian was paying on both of them. She was paying off the house, and she was paying off the loans. What was I doing? I was doing night stock at Target. I chose to do night stock because it paid an extra $2 over the day work for a grand total of $8 an hour. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the night stock, but they're a very interesting group of people. Socially awkward is an understatement. Hygiene is questionable. And these were my peers. I had a sinking feeling in my heart, and I was very bitter. I was not a very pleasant person to be around. Adrian didn't like being around me. How could she? I was a victim of 9/11. That's why I didn't have a pilot job. 9/11. I was a victim of my college and the student loan debt that they pile on top of me. I was a victim of my mom's cancer. I was a victim because my marriage wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I knew it wasn't what Adrian thought it was going to be. I had it all figured out. Life just sucks. I had zero control over this. Life was just crushing down on me, and this was God's plan for me. God's plan was Jeremy's life's going to suck for a bit, and I just had to suck it up and take it. So on my nights off, in order to maintain alertness for my wonderful nighttime job, I developed a new habit. I was watching TV at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, this is before Netflix, this is before DVRs, this is before all that stuff, so you had to watch what was being broadcast at that particular time. And what's being broadcast at that particular time? By the way, I was bitter. Infomercials. Infomercials is what I was watching. But wait, there's more. I was watching about a knife that could cut through a copper pipe and then cut a tomato afterwards. Pretty impressive knife. I was watching some power juicer. I was watching infomercials about some big oven that cooked with a light bulb. You can put a giant turkey inside of it. I was watching the Sham Wow commercials, that soaky rag sponge thing. I was watching the Snuggie, you know, the big blanket with sleeves on it. I'd watch that infomercial. I was watching just ridiculous garbage TV. But my favorite infomercial to watch was one about a program called Get the Edge. Now, it's not the one about a knife. It's a Tony Robbins program, an audio program. And the first time I watched it, I made fun of it in my head. I made fun of the people it helped. I'm like, they're probably boneheads anyway. It doesn't take much to help those people. But by the 4th or 5th time I'd watched this infomercial, it started to make a little bit of sense. And some of those concepts started to sound familiar to me. And once I stopped mocking the commercial, I started to understand the commercial. I started to understand those concepts. So I pulled out my credit card, put the $300 on it with the full intention of returning it 30 days later to get my money back. Because for me at that particular time, $300 was a week's worth of Target work. We could not afford a $300 audio program at this time. So about a week later, I hear a knock on the door. And I'm cutting my tomatoes and putting them in my juicer. And I got out my ShamWow and I'm wiping off the counter. And of course, I'm home alone, so I'm standing there in my underwear. So I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta cover up. So I put on my Snuggie. And I walk over to the door and open up the door, and there at the doormat is the Get That's program. With my Snuggie. And so I bring it inside and open it up, and I was genuinely excited. I was genuinely excited to open it up, and I'm going through the manuals, and I'm looking at the CDs, and I started listening to the first program. And the very first program, the very first CD talks about the next morning you're going to wake up, and you're going to wake up in your shoes. So I wake up the next morning, and by the next morning, I mean it's probably 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And I wake up into my shoes, and I pop in the CD, and I put on my headphones, and I head out the door. And Tony Robbins says, all right, you're going to walk. And I want you to have your chest up, shoulders back, chin up. And I want you to breathe. And I thought, how about we all do that? Action time. This is going to be interactive, guys. We're not just going to sit here and listen to Jeremy. Everybody stand up. So, Tony Robbins says, shoulders back, chest up. And just in case you're wondering what my expression on my face was when Tony Robbins said this, I want you all to look at John Hafen right now. That was the look on my face. Am I really going to have to do this? Yeah, John, you're going to have to do this. So, shoulders back, chest up, chin up. You start to walk. And then you breathe in through your nose 4 times. And then you breathe out 4 times. And then you add finger tapping. And in my head I'm thinking, this is stupid. This is stupid. I was bitter. You guys sit back down. You guys sit back down. Thank you. So then Tony Robbins, I'm doing all this exercise, I'm walking down the street, and I'm like, okay, I'm trying to get into it. And he says, all right, time to get grateful. We're going to get grateful. And he starts to list off all the things he's grateful for. And I'm like, dude, you're a 6'8" multimillionaire. Your list is pretty easy. Yeah, you can be grateful for a lot of things. Me, on the other hand, a little harder to be grateful for things. So I stopped the CD. And my shoulders went down, and my chin dropped, and I saw my shadow sitting there. And I went into my story of why I was so miserable. My mom just died, and she was just such a great woman. And I got this college loan debt, and I did all studying for this college degree, and I'm working at Target. My wife doesn't like me anymore. Nothing's going as I planned. Nothing is working for me. What the heck am I supposed to be grateful for? I was angry. I remember I was talking out loud. I was pointing at the sidewalk. I was waving my arms. If there was someone driving by, I was next to a busy road. If some guy drove by, I have no doubt he probably picked up his phone. He's like, honey, keep the kids in the house. Because there's a maniac right outside our house right now. I was ridiculously angry. And I got it all out of me. And I said, all right, one thing. And I looked down and I saw my shadow. And in Seattle, where I grew up, there's not a lot of shadows. There's not a lot of sunshine. So there was a lot of sunshine. I thought, well, I'm in Arizona, June. I'm grateful for the sunshine. I said again, I'm grateful for the sunshine. And I said it again, and I felt my chin come up. I felt my shoulders go back. I'm grateful for the sunshine. I remember putting my chin up and feeling the sun beating down on my face. I'm grateful for the sunshine. And then it hit me. I'm grateful for my mom, for the time I did have with her. Grateful that my dad's still alive. Grateful that I have a wife that's stuck with me. Grateful for my dumb dog, Zeke. I'm grateful for my brothers. I'm grateful for my sister. Grateful for the gospel of Jesus Christ. And then it started to pour out of me. I'm like, I'm grateful for so many things. I finished that CD, walked into my house, cleared off my kitchen table, and poured myself into that program. Just poured myself into it. I set massive goals that day. I called up Target that day, and I quit. I didn't even give them 2 weeks' notice. And I remember talking to my manager on the phone, and I said, hey, I'm not coming in today, I quit. And she said, if you don't give us 2 weeks' notice, you can never work at a Target property ever again. And I am almost positive my exact words were, really? Awesome. Click. No going back now. I'm moving forward. I set the goal to be a flight instructor in 1 year. It took me 6 months. I set the goal to fly a jet in 3 years. I did it in 18 months. I set the goal to fly a jet across an ocean in 5 years. There are pilots, the majority of pilots never fly a plane across an ocean. And yet here I am saying, I'm going to do that in 5 years. I did it in 4 years. 4 years, almost to the day later, I landed in Madrid, Spain. I set a financial goal to hit in 10 years. I hit it in 7 years. I set a financial goal to hit in 20 years. I hit that 2 years ago, 14 years after I set that goal. When I set those goals, I was a night stock employee at Target. When I set those goals, they were ridiculous goals. When I set those goals, nothing changed. I didn't get a new connection. I didn't get more money. I didn't get a new job. I quit a job. The only thing that changed was me. The only thing that changed was the way I was thinking about things. I was grateful. So, sorry, John. Action time. I want everyone to turn to the person next to you that you know the least. The person that you know the least. And I want you to tell them one thing you are grateful for, but it has to be an unusual thing. You can be like, I'm grateful for my wife. Like, yeah, we're all grateful for our wife and husband. Like, you have to say that. Something unusual, like my sunshine. Think of something unusual, and I want you to tell them what that is. Go. All right. John. Sorry, I'm picking on you, John. All right, we ready? John, you talked to Joe. What did Joe say?
I don't know if you want to know this, Joe.
I do. I know that.
He said, I'm grateful this is not going to last for more than an hour.
That's an unusual thing, and I like it. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Did not expect that. Rachel, who did you talk to?
I talked to Jessica.
What did Jessica say?
She said that she's grateful that it hasn't been so warm this summer. But
That is a good thing.
So far.
Donna, what did John say?
He said he's grateful for his stutter because it's helped him grow immensely.
Wow. Good job. Sorry, Joe. His is better than yours. Yours was good,
I
though.
thought Joe's pretty good.
No, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Greatest virtue. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. Remember when I saw my shadow? When I saw my shadow, it showed me that the sun was out. You don't notice the light until you see the dark. The darkness was within me, just like in my shadow. There was plenty of light around me. There's plenty of good things happening around me, but I was so focused on me. I was so focused on my little bitter, dark self that I wasn't focused on all the good things and all the bright things that were happening around me. Everywhere else was lit up. There's so much to be grateful for if we stop looking inside of ourselves and start looking outside of ourselves. Tony Robbins says, gratitude turns what we have into enough. I want everyone to think in your mind, you don't have to tell anyone, think in your mind something you're grateful for. Just think it. What are you grateful for? Whatever it is, it's enough. If it's your kids, they're enough. If you want to have more kids, but you only have the number of kids you have, what you have is enough. If you have a job and you're grateful for it, it's enough. Even if you're not making the amount of money you wanted to make, or it's not in the field you want to be in, it's still enough. If your husband or wife drives you nuts, they're still enough. If you had a problem with your mom and dad, if you're grateful for them, that turns them into enough. Even if they let you down, if you're grateful for them, that turns them into enough. Because when we have enough, we can be so much more. When we have enough, you can have a starting point to develop yourself into who you want to become. You got to be grateful for what you have, because what you have has brought you here, and if you're here, you can become so much more. What I had brought me to that point on that sidewalk looking at that dark shadow, and everything that I had was enough to change everything that I needed to do so I could become so much more. If you have gratitude, you have enough. Second, to develop spiritually, you need to develop yourself personally. And when you develop personally, you must do so with the higher purpose of developing yourself spiritually. Here's what's interesting. When I became grateful, my soul was filled. I no longer had that empty feeling inside of myself. I could feel God's influence in my life again. I no longer felt like God had a plan for me and I didn't like its plan. I felt like I had a plan for myself and God was now willing to help me. But I grew up in this religion. I grew up going to churches just like this my whole life. I served a mission in Argentina. I taught this gospel. I taught my whole life up to this point the gospel of Jesus Christ, which teaches about gratitude. Thomas S. Monson, my sincere prayer is that we may, in our individual lives, reflect that marvelous virtue and attitude of gratitude. I'd heard that before. President Nelson, our degree of gratitude is a measure of our love for Him. Ever sing this song? Can you guys sing it right now? Action time. Shandy, you want to get started? When... There you go.
You are tempest tossed, when you are discouraged, thinking all is lost. Count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done.
Beautiful. Thank you. There was plenty telling me my whole life that gratitude was the key. And yet, when I heard it from Tony Robbins, who is not a particularly religious guy, it was only then that I put it into practice. For me, he instantly changed gratitude from a religious doctrine into a daily habit. Now, life is eternal. Life has eternal principles. The lessons that existed long before we came to this earth will exist long after this earth. We take those lessons and those principles with us after we leave this life. We've been taught those by prophets. They've been writing them for thousands of years. Jim Rohn, who was a mentor to Tony Robbins, said the two great words of antiquity are behold and beware. Behold the possibilities and beware the temptations. When your life is over and someone writes a story about you, I hope they start with behold, not with beware. Personal development coaches, author speakers, the really good ones, the real authentic ones, don't invent their own principles. They simply recognize eternal principles and the success that they bring. If someone says, I've invented these new principles, it's like saying, I've built some antiques. You can't do that. Stephen Covey said, I believe that correct principles are natural laws and that God, the creator and father of all of us, is the source of them. Tony Robbins says, success leaves clues, and it has for thousands and thousands of years. Failures leave clues, and they have for thousands and thousands of years. Last fall, when I had that empty, sinking feeling, just last fall, I knew what my problem was. I had stopped developing myself. My spirit was beginning to wilt. I wasn't nourishing myself anymore. I wasn't developing myself anymore. I knew I needed to challenge myself, just like I had back in 2003. You ever heard someone say, it feels like the world's conspiring against me? The whole world, the universe is just conspiring against me. You ever heard someone say that? That's how I felt back in 2003. But now I believe that the universe can conspire for you just as easily. Because the same day that I felt it conspiring against me is the same day back in 2003 when I felt it conspiring for me. Well, last fall, it conspired for me once more. My brother called me. And my brother calls me usually at Christmas and my birthday, and that's about it. But he called me last fall. And he said, hey, I've been doing this program for about 18 months. It's called AMP. And I'd noticed that my brother had been making a lot of changes. My brother is very much a status quo kind of guy. He's just like, let's just do what we do, it works, and that's fine. I noticed he sold his house, he got a new job, he left a job he'd been at for like 24 years and got a new job. I'm like, something weird's going on here. And he said he'd been following this guy online named Benjamin Hardy, just a kid, just a 20-something return missionary kid who's been working on his PhD. And he'd been writing some articles online, and he developed a huge following, hundreds of thousands of people. So he decided to take the content of his articles and put it into a program called AMP, Accelerated Momentum Program. I am not selling it, Noel, don't worry. You're fine. I'm not selling anything. In his book, he says, Wayne, why don't you read that nice and loud?
Most people are living small, not because they lack the inherent talent, but because their situation isn't demanding more of them. They haven't placed themselves in a position requiring them to become more than they currently are.
Doesn't that sound like our purpose here on earth? Wasn't that the whole purpose of us coming down here? Before this life, weren't we in a situation where we couldn't become more than we currently were? We needed to come down here so we could become more than we currently are. Personal development equals spiritual development. I was fascinated. I'm like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. So, $1,000. Pulled out the credit card again, except we could pay it off this time. And I joined the one-year program. I read his articles, watched his weekly videos, I read his book, and he had a list, 3 books. In this quarter, you need to read these 3 books. And if you read those 3 books, I have a bonus 3 books you can read. I'm like, I read about 1 book a year right now, and usually it's fictional. I'm like, I won't be getting into your bonus books at all. I read his book in 3 weeks. I read the next 2 books that were on the reading list the next month. I read the next 3 bonus books in the month after that. Since October, I have read 40 books. Some of them 2, 3, one of them 4 times. One book by Jim Rohn, 4 times. Pull out your handouts, guys. I want to go over just a few things. I don't know if we'll go through this whole thing. I know Joe's got someplace to be. Courage. Donna, can you read that first part for me?
Sure.
Feel the fear and do it anyways. If you knew you could handle anything that came your way, what would you possibly have to fear? Keep going.
Yep.
I'll handle it. Nephi 3:7. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, said unto my father, I will go into the things which the Lord hath commanded, for I know that the Lord giveth no commandments unto the children of men, save he shall prepare a way for them, that they may accomplish the thing which he commanded them. 1 Nephi 4:6. And I was led by the Spirit, not knowing beforehand the things which I should do.
If you want to be like Nephi, if you want to be able to go into a situation and know that you can handle it, if you want to go into a situation not knowing beforehand what to do, there's a book on that. Those 2 verses, Nephi, you're like, I want to have that psychology. There's a whole book on that. You can develop yourself personally to develop that characteristic spiritually. Is there another verse after that Nephi verse? There's just the 2. Okay, I got it down here. I'll read it. It said, and Nephi said unto himself, I'll handle it. Nephi said to himself, essentially, I'll handle it. Whatever you want, Lord, I'll handle it. That's what that book teaches you. You feel the fear and do it anyway because you go into it with, I'll handle it. No matter how bad the situation is, you'll handle it. You'll get through it because other people do too. Next one, faith. Kurt, can you read that, please?
By establishing and maintaining faith, so you can achieve something that propels you into action. And the more action you take, the more chances you have to reach success, and the more capable and effective you become along the way, which feeds your faith that it is not only impossible or possible, but even inevitable. James 2:17, 20 and 22. Even so faith, if it hath not works, is dead, being alone. But wilt thou know, O vain man, that faith works without works is dead? Seest thou how faith wrought with his works, and by works was faith made perfect?
If your faith is perfect, I would say you feel like if something's going to happen, you may even feel it's inevitable. If you need more faith, if you feel like you need it, there's a book on that. There's a whole book. There's lots of books on that, but that's an excellent book, The Miracle Equation, where you have unwavering faith and you add a extraordinary action to it. Unwavering faith plus extraordinary action will lead to miracles. Daily habits. Nate.
It's been said that the first hour is the rudder of the day. If I'm lazy or haphazard in my actions during the first hour after I wake up, I tend to have a fairly lazy and unfocused day. But if I strive to make that first hour optimally productive, the rest of the day tends to follow suit. And Doctrine and Covenants 88:124 says, cease to sleep longer than is needful. Retire to thy bed early that ye may not be weary. Arise early that your bodies and your minds may be invigorated.
If you want your body and your mind to be invigorated, well, there's a whole book on what you should be doing the first hour you wake up. If you want to comply with that wonderful advice that we get in Doctrine and Covenants, if you don't want to just read that and go, yeah, I should probably do that, you can get a whole plan on how to do that in this book, Morning Miracle. Adversity, next one. Adrian. Yep, the whole thing. It's good stuff in here, listen up.
Why waste time proving over and over how great you are when you could be getting better? Why hide deficiencies instead of overcoming them? Why look for friends or partners who will just shore up your self-esteem instead of ones who will also challenge you to grow? And why seek out the tried and true instead of experiences that will stretch you? The passion for stretching yourself and sticking to it, even or especially when it's not going well, is the hallmark of the growth mindset. This is the mindset that allows people to thrive during some of the most challenging times in their lives. Doctrine and Covenants 136:31. My people must be tried in all things, that they may be prepared to receive the glory that I have for them, even the glory of Zion. And he that will not bear chastisement is not worthy of my kingdom.
Hold on right there. If you want to be prepared to receive the glory of God, do you think you can hide your deficiencies? If you want to have even the glory of Zion, you think it'd be good if you're thriving in difficult times? You think that book could help you? This book right here? Yeah, it could definitely help you. Matthew 25, go ahead.
Matthew 25:20. And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest me unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord.
Hold on right there, sorry. Does that sound like a guy that's trying to get better? Absolutely. A guy that has a growth mindset. I got 5 and I can do better. I can turn that into 10. Okay, go ahead.
And I was afraid and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine.
Good job. Yeah.
His Lord answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant.
That's the guy that got 1 talent and buried it. Does that sound like a guy that has passion for stretching himself? No. Journaling. Keith beat you, sorry. You get the next one.
Journal writing is one of the greatest indications that you are a serious student. Taking pictures, that's pretty easy. Buying a book at the bookstore, that's pretty easy. It's a little more challenging to be a student of your own life, your own future, your own destiny. Take the time to write notes and keep a journal. You'll be so glad you did. What a treasure to leave behind when you go. What a treasure to enjoy today. 2 Nephi 4:15 says, and upon these I write the things of my soul, and many of the scriptures which are engraven upon the plates of brass. For my soul delighteth in the scriptures, and my heart pondereth them, and readeth them for the learning and the profit of my children.
Says Nephi, and I write the things of my soul. Nephi is being a student of his own life, just like Jim Rohn said. I've been writing journals since October. This is just since October. I got, no joke, close to 1,000 pages written. It has been life-changing to become a student of my own life. In the topical guide, you look up write. This is only 1 page. There's a whole other page after this. Take the time to take notes and write a journal. Obviously, it's very important. We wouldn't have any of these things, any of these scriptures, if people didn't stop and take the time to be students of their own lives and write it down. Next one, gratitude. It gets faster from here, I promise. You're up, Dave.
Gratitude by Tony, Jim, Ben, and Nearly. Gordon B. Hinckley, gratitude is the beginning of wisdom. Stated differently, true wisdom cannot be obtained unless it is built on a foundation of true humility and gratitude. Colossians 2:6, as ye have therefore received Christ Jesus the Lord, so walk ye in him. 7, rooted and built up in him, and established in the faith as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving.
I didn't give you a bunch of quotes about the other guys, but all these guys that write these books, they all talk about gratitude. And yet, here's Hinckley talking about gratitude. I didn't get it until these other guys were telling me about it. Next one. Megan.
Interesting how the guy with the most talent and success spent more time looking at than anyone else. Isaiah 28:10. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here we are.
Meditation, next one. Ben, or Rod.
All right, meditation. You are the placebo, breaking the habit of being yourself. Joe Dispenza. Children's Songbook 109, Search, Ponder, and Pray.
You guys want to sing it?
Yeah, Rod.
Go, Rod.
I think Rod. I love to read the Holy Scriptures.
And every time I do, I feel the Spirit start to grow up in my heart, the testimony that they're true. Search, ponder, and pray are the things that I must do. The Spirit will guide, and deep inside I know the Scriptures are true. And Psalms 119:50. I will meditate in thy precepts, and have respect in thy way, unto thy ways. I have received direct revelation from God during meditation. It opens the mind like nothing else I have experienced. Jeremy Stoker.
I know that guy. I started this meditation thing, and I made fun of it before. I'm like, it's like for granola hippies. But this AMP program said, try some meditation. So I got into it. I'm telling you, these 2 books right here, is Breaking the Habit, Placebo book, they have opened my mind like nothing else. There are times I've started meditating for over an hour and a half now. and you receive direct revelation from God. When you close your mind down from everything else and you're able to focus and get deep into your mind, all of a sudden, you can start to hear God talk to you. You start to get answers. It is unlike anything else I've ever experienced. If you want to know how to do that, there's books that will help you do that. You develop yourself personally to become a good meditator, I guarantee you're developing yourself spiritually. I guarantee it. Last couple ones. Financial. John.
The rich
Let's go with that one, okay?
Wait, oh.
I pointed out. I just realized we got like 4 Johns in here, so go for it.
I understand. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender.
Perfect. Lots of books on money. Lots of books that help you out with your money. Organization. Brian, I know you're up on this one.
The life-changing magic of tidying up, spark joy. Willpower doesn't work, and essentialism. D&C, section 90, verse 18. Set in order your houses. Keep slothfulness and uncleanness far from you.
Perfect. If you want to do that, there's books that can help you. Spiritual development equals personal development, and personal development equals spiritual development. You change what you do day to day, and it affects you for eternity. And if you want to change what affects you for eternity, you got to change what you're doing day to day. It's as simple as that. That empty feeling that I had, and that sometimes you guys get, because I know we all get it, it cannot be filled with casual interests, with hobbies. Those will distract and entertain you, which we also need. I'm not going to criticize that at all. We all need distractions. We all need entertainment, but you're not going to fill yourself up with that. It is only when we have personal development rooted in spiritual development, that's what fills us up inside of here. Action time. Like a little whip I drew. I want you to take out, I got pen and paper, and a little section notes on your last page there. I want you to tell the person next to you, whether it's your husband or wife or your kid or a stranger, tell the person next to you one thing you wish you knew how to do better, or that you knew how to do at all. One thing that you wish you were doing better, or one thing that you wish you would do at all. Tell them now. One thing. Once they tell you, I want you to write down how long, how much time, that's a clock I tried to draw there. How much time will it take you to do that? If you wanted, I heard Adrian say cooking, which I would love it if she would get better at that. That would be fantastic. She's already so fantastic, but there's always room to grow. No, she's not very good. How long will it take you to get to where you think you need to be? How much money do you think that'll cost you? In Adrian's case, maybe she's got to take a 12-week course. I don't know. And that course is going to cost her $200. I have no idea. Just as an example. And what are you doing instead of that thing? Ordering out. Exactly. So taking the course would actually save us money. There we go. How long will it take you? How much time will it take? How much money do you think you'll have to spend on it? And what are you doing instead of that thing? All right, looks like most of you are done. Third and final thing. We have so much control over our life than we ever imagined. I learned from Joe Dispenza in those meditations the concept of co-creator. Now, we're all familiar with the brother of Jared. He built the ship. It's very dark inside. Brother Jared went to the Lord and said, Lord, it's dark inside. What are we going to do? And the Lord said, I don't know. You figure it out. And he went and got some clear stones. And he took the Lord and said, Lord, it would be great if you could light these things up. And the Lord touched him with his finger, lit him up, put him in the ship. Brother Jared designed a solution to the problem. The Lord engineered the solution. He changed those stones so that they would glow throughout their journey. Heavenly Father commanded Jehovah and Michael to create the world. Now, it was to be Michael's world. We all know that Michael was later Adam, and that Jehovah was Jesus Christ. When I picture that relationship, I always kind of picture Jehovah and Michael, they're like best friends. They're not just like, oh, I've been called to do it. They're like best friends. And they're probably pretty excited about this project. Heavenly Father would say, go down to earth, separate the land from water. And Jesus would go, okay, I know how to do that. Adam, how do you want it to look? Adam said, it'd be kind of cool if it just kind of all one big land mass, we put it together and everyone could just kind of walk around. That'd be cool. All right, Pangea, there you go. Got it together. And he's like, well, I don't know if I want to be that way all the time. Maybe if we could make it move around a little bit. Okay, we'll make the tectonic plates. We'll make it move around. And then Michael said, you know what? It'd be cool if it's like a big lizard planet. What if we just like, that'd be really cool. So Jesus said, all right, lizard planet. All these dinosaurs down there. You got T-Rex, you got Brontosaurus, you got all these lizards down there. And he's like, all right, we're done. Michael, you ready to go down? And he's all, I do not want to go down there now. And Jehovah said, you want to start over? Yeah, I want to start over. Through the meteor. And I don't know how this actually happened. I'm making this up. I'm not saying, I want you to go, oh, you know, Brother Stoker's, I don't want you to call in Utah and get me excommunicated. But I'm saying they probably collaborated. Not probably, they definitely collaborated on how to create this world. It was Adam's world. He had a lot of input in how it was going to be. Adam said after he saw the dinosaurs, he's like, you know what, I want to invent these things called kittens and puppies. And he sent those down to the world. And then after they got all those, Jehovah looked at Michael, said, you ready to go down? He's like, kittens, puppies? Yeah, we're good to go. And down he went. Michael was a co-creator of this world. Now, remember when I said that I thought God's plan was just to beat me down and crush me until he was done with me? See, I thought God was like the IRS. Now, for those of you who don't pay your taxes, let me explain how the IRS works. You get a job, you fill a little form, and you get these weird points. And at the end of it, you score up your points, and you hand that to your employer, and the employer goes, okay, now I know how much to hold out of your paycheck. So when you get your actual paycheck, you don't get all of it. They send some of that to the IRS, and they hold on to it. And then come April, you filled out a bunch of confusing paperwork, and you go, okay, I think I owe this much. I think they held this much. Therefore, they need to send me back some of that money, or they didn't hold enough, and I need to go send them some more money. But let's be honest, we're all kind of guessing. We don't know exactly how much tax we should be paying. And if we're way off, the IRS will go, that didn't look right, and they'll come and they audit us. And occasionally, we'll do everything that we think we did right, and they'll audit us anyway. That's how I thought God was. Up to fairly recently. It's kind of embarrassing. I thought I had to read, ponder, and pray, submit my best guess of what God wanted for me to do, and if he didn't like it, he'd audit me and turn me a different direction. That's all crap. It's all crap. That's not the way it works at all. We are his children. I don't have a plan for my children. I have expectations, I have standards, I have desires. I don't have a detailed step-by-step plan for them. I want them to live their life. I want them to grow. I want them to develop. I want them to struggle. I want them to hurt a little bit. I want them to serve. I want them to find their passion. I want them to give. I want them to progress. I want them to graduate from school. I want them to get a job and have kids and do all that wonderful things. But what they do in between those points, I don't really care. I just want them to be good kids and be progressing in their life. I don't want to micromanage their life. That won't be healthy for them at all. And God has progress points laid out for us. We get baptized, we get priesthood, temple, all those wonderful covenants that we make in this church. Those are all little progress points. But what we do in between them, he doesn't really care that much. As long as we're being good, as long as we're not sinning, as long as we're not completely going against his plan for us. He has a plan. He doesn't have a Jeremy Stoker plan. He has a plan of salvation. Assuming it's not a sin, there's no right or wrong answer. You don't have to worry about, because if we look at God's plan, we think it has a right and a wrong answer. If we pick the wrong thing, we're like, okay, God's going to audit me. That's going to suck. And then if we pick the right answer, we're still afraid that we didn't actually pick the right answer. Was that really what God wanted me to do? I'm not sure. Was that really the person I was supposed to marry? Am I supposed to be living in Texas? It doesn't work that way. Because even if you pick the right thing, you're still in fear. And even if you're absolutely sure I picked the right thing, well, now you're on to the next step. I got to make another decision. Oh, I hope I don't make the wrong decision. Oh, I might screw up. God doesn't want you to live that way. That's not his plan for us here on earth. I am not their decision maker. I am there to support them. I am there to provide for them. I am there to guide them away from bad things, guide them away from sin. I'm there to guide them towards making good decisions, but I'm not there to make every decision. The most important thing we have in this life, the whole purpose of this life, is our agency. God is your co-creator. He is not your decision maker. You design your life. Let God create it. You design your life. Really. Nate, you design your life. John, you design your life. Wayne, you design life. Mike, Rod, I feel like Oprah. Brian, Adrian, you all get to design your life. Everyone take a deep breath. Let it out. Is that a good feeling? You're not wrong. You're not screwing up. When you get to design your life, you get to awaken the giant within you. You get to think big. You get to change your mindset to a growth mindset. You get to feel the fear and do it anyway. You get to be relentless. You don't have to worry about, well, if I'm relentless on this, am I doing it wrong? I don't know. Did God want me to do that? If it's not a sin, he's fine with it. He's absolutely fine with it. See, when you understand that you're a co-creator, you get a plan A and you get a plan B. And if you pick plan A, guess what? God's going to help you with your plan A. And if you pick plan B, guess what? God's going to help you with your plan B. He's totally good with both plans. He's going to help you with both plans. You design it, he'll help you create it. He'll give you the resources, he'll give you the procedures, he'll give you what you need to do it. But maybe what you designed isn't a good fit for you. I know you're all thinking like, well, I've designed some stuff and it really sucked. Yeah, we've all done that. Ever seen that thing? Maybe you designed a duck-billed platypus. Maybe you put a duckbill on a beaver. And you're like, that didn't work out at all. And you and God laugh on it, and you threw it in the river, and you moved on. It's fine. You learned from it. Next time you're building something, you're like, okay, I'm not going to put a duckbill on a beaver. Like, it's going to work out a lot better next time. You learn from it. You're a co-creator. You don't have to second-guess yourself anymore. Action. Fist bump the person next to you and tell them you don't have to second-guess yourself anymore. Even if you make a bad decision, you have plan A and you have plan B, guess what? When you pick plan A, you grew from it. You learned something from it. And you're like, oh, I probably should have picked plan B. Okay, well now you can go pick plan B. And you're picking plan B and you're picking a better plan B because you learned from it. And you pick that plan B and you learn from it and you grow. And you're like, okay, well now I'm learning and growing. Guess what? You get to pick another plan A and another plan B. And you learn from that. And that's how we progress in this life. What you don't want to do is pick plan A and go, oh, everything's just kind of perfect. I'm never going to leave this position. And you don't want to get paralysis by analysis. You want to make a decision. You want to learn from it. You want to grow from it. And then don't be afraid to make the next decision because you're not going to be wrong. God's going to be there to help you co-create the next thing. And maybe it works and maybe it doesn't work. Either way, he's going to help you out. Because of this concept, I'm standing here before you right now. I created this moment. I designed this world. I didn't do that. Talk about calling Salt Lake. Don't do that. I designed this moment, and God helped co-create it. God conspired the universe so that I would be randomly online and see some online public speaking course. And I was like, that looks very interesting. And this online public speaking course was led by a 50-year-old black woman. Not usually in the demographic that I'm looking up online. And yet something about her spoke to me. And I thought, I think I could learn something from her. So I signed up for the program. And because I signed up for that program, I did a 30-day, every single night I had to do something. And then this is the culmination of that project. I designed it, it was co-created, and then you guys got to choose to be here with me. thank you for doing that. Right now, I'm writing articles, something I've never done before in my life. I haven't researched since I went to that prestigious university. I am researching things and studying things and learning how to write and calling people that know how to actually write and go, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, I wrote this. And they help me edit. I'm learning and I'm growing and I'm co-creating. And I created some duck-billed platypus and I threw them away. And they're swimming in a river right now. And I'm learning and I'm growing. A few months ago, Adrian was watching Groundhog's Day. I walked past it and I saw Bill Murray walk up to a doorstep, throw a pile of money at this lady and say, give me piano lessons. She shoved a 12-year-old girl out on the porch and said, come on in. And that's the picture of him taking his first lesson on how to play a piano. And I saw that and I'm like, I can do that. That can be part of my plan. God doesn't get to decide if I play the piano or not. I get to decide that. I'm not musical. I don't sing. I want to learn. So last December, I signed up for piano lessons. Last month, I had my first piano recital. I played in front of 100 people. Steve was there. His daughter was playing in it. I played in front of 100 people a song that an 8-year-old girl could play. And I was the oldest there by at least 25 years. It wasn't even close. I think Steve's daughter was probably the oldest one there. She's what, 17? What's that?
There's a piano in the corner.
Oh, no. Okay. All right, stay after. We'll all sing some songs. I deserve that. Right now, guys, my soul is full. I am filled with excitement. I can't wait to wake up the next morning. I'm no longer asleep. Ask Adrian. I wake up before everyone else because I try to get things done before the kids wake up because I'm excited about what I can accomplish every single day now. I don't know what's happened to me. Something very strange has happened to me. Adrian's also signed up for this course, and I'm seeing changes in her. She's developing herself personally, and it is affecting us spiritually, and it's affecting our whole family. It's a beautiful thing. I have never in my life experienced anything like this before. Quiz time. Parent of all other virtues, what is it? Gratitude. With gratitude, we can be sure that we are enough. Second, personal what? Equals what? If you ever have that feeling, I could be more. If you ever have that feeling that I had, you got to start working on yourself personally. You got to figure out how to do that. And I gave you a whole mess of stuff that you can work on. We are co-creators. We're not God's chess pieces getting shuffled around on his little table there. We get to design our lives. We're true partners with God, trying to provide the best possible life experience in this life so we can progress eternally. We get to design that. God gets to help us in that process. Each one of you is here because I admire you so much. Each one of you is here because I know all of you have accomplished so many things. I look up at each and every one. Some of you have known for so long. Some of you I'm just starting to get to know. But I'm so grateful for you guys being here. You guys, I seriously love each and every one of you. I really do. I really want you guys to succeed. And I know you guys are succeeding right now. That's why you're here. That's why you're my friends. I wouldn't be around a bunch of losers. You guys are killing it. If you don't want much, you don't have to be much. Remember the parable of the talents? Remember the guy that had his one talent and buried it? I found a picture of him. That's why he was referred to as a wicked and slothful servant. If you don't want much, you don't have to be much. Don't be afraid of wanting a lot. Don't be afraid of going for things. Don't be afraid, oh, I don't want to be prideful. Oh, I don't want people to judge me. Who cares? It's none of their business. You be what you want to be. You design it. And God will help you co-create it. And you may stumble and goof up along the way, but you're going to succeed. And if you guys need help, if I can help you in any way, call and text me. I want to know what you guys are doing. I want to know what your kids are doing. I've lost touch with a lot of you. I want to be more involved in all your lives. And if you guys know anyone that would appreciate part of what I said tonight, or all of what I said tonight, or if you're curious what I could do, if you give me another topic, another group, I would love the opportunity to get in front of some more people and just grow. And I may goof up, but I'm going to grow. And I'd love to try this again. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.